What's up, everyone? Happy Friday. You made it to the first Friday in August of 2024. That means it's pumpkin spice season. Fall is coming. Get ready. Might as well just circle back in 2025. I don't know. Just kidding. What's up, everybody? My name is Lauren Sermon. This is the Friday Live with Lauren show. If you've never been here before, welcome. What took you so long? We're in season 2. Hello. If you've been here before, I'm so excited that you're back again. My guest today is actually the very first person who ever joined me on the show before we even knew it was going to be a show, before it was called a show, before there was structure, before we knew what we were doing. And here we are today. So in just a minute, I'm going to bring her out. Start tagging her in the comments if you know who she is. Share the show. Did LinkedIn let you know we were live? Were they nice and kind today? I didn't get a notification, so I'm not sure. Please share the show. Let some other people know that we're going to learn and laugh and level up. And then you have to tell us, where are you joining from? This is not an audio event on LinkedIn. We cannot see you down there. We don't know that you are here and friends with us. We want to connect with you. We want to be there and support you through your LinkedIn journey. If I can't, my network can is my tagline. Let us do that for you. So where are you joining from? Without further ado, let me get Michelle Craig to the stage. What's up, Michelle?
Hey, everybody. I almost started with, it's High Five Friday, but it's just me right now.
You're so used to the High Five Friday being the first thing you got going on when you come on the show.
I love it. I love it. I'm excited to be here. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope everyone had a good week and is ready for the weekend. I know that I am, for sure.
I am so ready for the weekend. I have to give a special shout out right now. Today is my son Axel's 7th birthday. I took the day off work. I did come in for the show, but I took the day off. We have been at Dave and Buster's playing games. Y'all, that NBA 2K, I don't know, whatever. I'm not good at it, but if you push all the buttons really fast, you can slam dunk. So I got that done today. But wish Axel a happy birthday for me in the chat. While you're doing that, Michelle, I want you to get to give everybody an intro. I think the world of you. I think my network knows you, but just in case somebody's watching right now and they don't know you, can you tell everybody who is Michelle Craig?
Yeah, definitely. So that's me. I consider myself overly caffeinated and extreme extrovert. I've been in sales for a few years, but was previously in marketing. So my brain and my ideas kind of bounce between the two. I live in Austin with my intern, Blue. So if you follow me or look at some of my past content, he is really the star of the show when it comes to LinkedIn. Not so good at cold calling, but we're working on it. Very good at meeting people in person and networking. But yeah, I love to network, love to meet new people. And I always say like meeting strangers is my hobby, which makes me a little bit crazy, but I love it.
Not crazy at all. I mean, we're in sales. We're all crazy, right? Okay. If you are tuning in, we got some awesome people in the chat. We got our biggest fan ever. Aloha. Michelle, tell everybody who that is.
That is my mom, our number one fan, and she makes sure that she hops on the show. She's 5 hours behind me, so she gets up a little earlier to get on. So, hi, Mom. Thank you for coming.
It. My mother's settings are private, so she comments sometimes on the show, but you can never actually see it. We got Aaron in the house. You were on PTO. Y'all, take your PTO. This is a friendly reminder that you earned it. And if you quit, they're probably not going to pay you out. So take your PTO. Please take your PTO. Okay, yes. We got Boston in the house. What's up, Tom? Hello. We are so thankful you are here. Andrew, you are right. Michelle is a superstar. Michelle was one of the first people that I interacted with in the SaaS world. And I was like, okay, I like her. Oh, look, we got Andrew from San Antonio. Love the cowboy hat. Maybe we should do a themed episode where we dress up or something. Wouldn't that be fun? We got time and ideas. Got to do some more stuff. Long Island, New York. Yes, Dan. That's awesome. We got Canada in the house. We got some happy birthdays for the boy. Thanks, y'all. Okay. Lake Michigan. Happy birthday. Lots of happy birthdays for you. Axel, if you're watching because you're not in school today, I hope you're seeing all the love. And Dan, you are so right. Spend $100 to win enough tickets for a $5 prize. And you got to spend the money on the food while you're there too. And it's so overpriced. I'm sorry. That's a whole nother show. We got lots of happy birthdays and our biggest fan in the house. And yes, you were all superstars for tuning in. Okay. We got what else? Okay, you can ask questions in the chat. That's typical. If they're appropriate, we'll answer them. If they're not, we will not even show them. We have to say what's up to our 2 sponsors. Y'all always know that we have an amazing giveaway. Thank you, Katie Penner and Sendoso, for supporting the show. And if you are not gifting in your sales process, y'all, I literally closed a deal yesterday. Well, I didn't close a deal. I signed a new client. We're going to close some deals, but I signed a client yesterday. Used Sendoso, sent out a nice bottle of bourbon. Sendoso is definitely in my playbook. It should be in yours as well. And then right above Michelle's head, we got Better Leap in the house. If you are a recruiter, the natural language sourcing model that Better Leap is using right now is saving me so much time in some of my new searches. So recommend both of them. Happy to show you around if anybody wants to DM me and let me know. And then I'll leave that scrolling on the bottom so you guys can remember how to win the giveaway, but comment Sendoso to win. Should we show them what it is, Michelle?
Definitely. I think it's a great one today. It always is, but even better today.
Let's do this. So today we have this is a True Scoops DIY ice cream kit. So this is strawberry and hot fudge. I picked the strawberry one in honor of Axel. It's his favorite flavor of ice cream. So you're gonna get to make some strawberry ice cream, some hot fudge. You got to be in the USA if you're gonna win this, or you got to ship it to somebody in the USA if you win this. But just so you know, Sendoso, y'all got the best stuff on your marketplace. Really, really do. Okay, Michelle, are you ready to jump in to the topics of the day?
Let's do it.
All right. So the first one, y'all, we talk about networking a lot on this show. There should be somebody in the comments who just reintroduced themselves as the networker. Let me know if you're here, if you know who I'm talking about. But we talk about networking a lot, and we're going to talk about networking right now. But where a lot of people get this wrong is the follow-up part of networking and how you keep these relationships going. So, Michelle, I'm going to let you take it away. Anybody who's watching, we're talking about networking. What is the importance of following up, and how do you balance networking and following up and not being annoying?
Yeah, I love it. So, and this is something honestly I'm constantly working on myself is, being more intentional and then more consistent with following up. So, one thing that I found is kind of a hack is, especially if I meet someone in person at an event, which also, if you're not going to networking events, look them up on Eventbrite. There's stuff in every city, everything from coffee meetups to larger events to industry meetups. It's such an awesome way to just connect with people in your space or maybe who do things completely differently than you. But one of the things that I've kind of started doing is I'll actually set kind of like a next step. So sales brain there, right? Set like a next step when we're having that conversation. So I think what happens a lot is we go to an event or even online, we connect with, let's say, 10 people. Life happens, we get busy, it's weeks later, we're trying to book a meeting, we're trying to have a coffee chat, and things just kind of roll from there. So I'm a big calendar girl. All of my friends' vacations are on my calendars, everything I do is on the calendar. And so one of the things is just, I think, being intentional and setting that next step. And that next step might just be, hey, I'm going to make an intro. Excuse me, I'm going to make an intro for you, right? Or hey, let's do coffee. Okay, let's do it next week, or let's put it on the calendar for a month out. But I think that's one of the ways that I found to really solidify relationships early on, because it is hard to keep up with different people. And then I think too, knowing being intentional, and people will probably fall into a couple of different buckets, and one is going to be someone that you're going to develop probably a much closer, higher contact relationship with. And others might be more of acquaintances where you meet, you connect on LinkedIn or, Twitter or Instagram or wherever you hang out. And then you touch base every once in a while, or you send something that, reminds them of you or reminds you of them. So I kind of bucket them that way. But I think getting that next step, whatever it might be, even if it's literally an email, is a really easy way to just be on top of solidifying the relationship from the beginning.
Yes. So I totally agree. When I'm networking, when I'm meeting someone new, I know we all have had the coffee chats, right? Coffee chats where it's we're going to get to know if we actually like each other. We want to really communicate. When I'm on a coffee chat with someone, I can normally tell if this could be a relationship, like you're saying, where we're going to actually be close, or if this is going to be hey, we chat every quarter on LinkedIn when we're doing well and I see your updates, right? I love when I'm in that moment with that coffee chat with somebody, I'm the person at the end who's like, listen, I really enjoyed this conversation. I know I'm going to want to pick your brain about whatever X, Y, and Z from this call. Can I text you right now while we're on the call? Just that way, so we can keep this conversation casual. I can get in touch with you when you need me. And I'll literally like put them on the spot on the camera and be like, give me your phone number and text you right now. So I want to be in touch with you. I've never had anybody tell me no. And what's the worst thing? They just don't text me back.
They block you. They know.
I wouldn't even know. I'm like, oh, the message turned green. What happened? Like, y'all.
That's so weird. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I think too, figuring out kind of what channels you live in, right? So I would say LinkedIn for me. I'm super active on here. I'm pretty responsive. So for me, LinkedIn is a better way for me to stay connected with people versus, like Instagram is more personal and email is flooded. And I feel like email there has to be a very specific purpose, like an introduction or, hey, check, can you review my resume? Or, hey, do you have recommendations for Austin or things like that? But some people are really active on Twitter, and I like networked on, well, X, whatever. I still call it Twitter. I don't care. But I've like made friends on, like I have Twitter friends, which is cool too. So some people live there or in different spaces. And I think that's another thing when it comes to follow up is you can always ask people too, like, hey, like you said, this was so awesome. I've got this project next month. I'd love to share it with you or include you. What's the best way for us to stay connected? And I think to your point, for you, it might be texting. I'm kind of a horrible texter. So for me, that's not ideal, but it's also the most direct way to get a hold of me, right? So depending on the situation. But yeah, I love that kind of like figuring out what channel and asking people, because everybody's a little bit different. Everyone has different communication preferences.
Yes. And it's so funny because my like in real life friends, like in real life, they don't text me. I don't want to text you. Call me. Let's chat really quick. But like my business friends, like for me, for it to be like a more significant relationship than LinkedIn, it needs to be moved into my text messages.
Yeah.
If it's a DM in LinkedIn, it's still a little too casual for where I want that to be. So once it moves to my text messages, I'm like, all right, I like it. Then if you ever get to the point where you're just calling me, all right, now you're in the inner circle because we're actually talking. Like Liz, who watches this show, knows if I could turn text messaging off on my phone some days, I completely would. So I know that's not always smart in the sales sense, but y'all, texting is just like, no, not always my jam. I got a 7-year, he's 7 today. Sometimes he's on my phone. I don't see that stuff for 3 days and you think I hate you. Just text me again. Oh my gosh. Please call and FaceTime all you want, Miss Penner. But not a lot of text. I love a cold FaceTime. I'm the weird one. Cold FaceTime me all day long. What would you do if somebody cold FaceTimed you, Michelle?
It would be so situational. Like if I was just at home, I would probably pick it up, to be honest, just out of pure curiosity of who is this number? Or
Blue in front of it.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's funny. I FaceTimed my mom yesterday and I just put Blue there first. It was just like Blue calling her. But yeah, have you ever actually received a cold FaceTime?
I have done a cold FaceTime. I've never received.
Did they pick up?
Yes. I've done like 5 or 6. I had one day where somebody dared me. I was on like a cold call spree at my old agency and they dared me to like call 6 people on FaceTime.
Oh my God. I love it.
Had to do it.
I feel like, go ahead.
I had to do it. I only had one person yell at me.
I mean, just don't pick up, right? Like that's, I don't know. We're not talking about cold calling today, but I will say that's one of those things where people get so mad and so upset. And there's a lot of like entry-level sellers or new sellers that are just doing their job. They're just doing their best. They're trying to feed their family. And people get so irate about cold calling. Like, send me a message. I will send you the templates of how you can remove yourself from the top 3 data platforms. You don't have to yell at anybody. Like it's all good. And just answer your phone,
Yes, Andrew, we'd like to talk with you about your car's extended warranty. I'm always like, I don't own a car. What? No, I would accept a cold FaceTime from Blue. Okay, Dan. Okay. I got a Carter, so we're going to work on this. Y'all, maybe that's it. We could cold FaceTime anybody we want to if it's just our animals on the other line at first.
I love it.
We'll have to A/B test that another day. We have to move to topic 2. This one's a big one. We're not just going to talk about sales. We're going to talk about your job search too. If you're watching this, you know I am a recruiter by trade. That is where I make my money, my bread and butter. It's getting people in the right roles for the right company at the right place at the right time, all the things. And job searching is hard. And I will say right now, you have to be more resourceful than ever before, ever before. So we're going to talk about that. But also, when it comes to closing deals right now, you're having to be more resourceful because there's a lot of noise out there, and there's a lot of competitors, and there's a lot of just, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll come to me in a minute. I'm going to let you take it away, Michelle. Talk to us about being resourceful in your sales career and your job search.
For sure. So I'll start with kind of what this stemmed from in like sales career and thinking of like pipeline gen. So I'm bringing some data today. I did a poll on LinkedIn a while ago and asked sales leaders what their biggest challenge is. And 34% said it's lack of resources. And so I've definitely seen this. I've been on really small teams. I've been on larger teams. And I think when you're especially a rep on a small team that maybe doesn't have all of the tools, maybe doesn't have mentorship, maybe doesn't have, a buddy to cold call with or whatever it is, I think that's where you really have to get resourceful. And one of the big things I always recommend is communities. So every community, there's, Women in Sales is a great community. The Herd by ComScore is great. There's Rev Genius is huge. Those communities are built to provide resources. And so if you're not, obviously you want to look at internal resources first. So who in the organization has been in your shoes or maybe can help or can answer questions. And then looking at external resources. So where might you be able to find maybe a mentor or just, again, a buddy to hit the phones with, or someone, like I was writing some new email copy and my buddy, Dan Drucker, I met him, I think we connected through Twitter initially, like he's one of those friends. And, but like, he was able to review my copy and give me a sales leadership perspective on it when I didn't necessarily have someone internally for that. So I think that's one of the things when it comes to job searching. To your point, I have a lot of friends that are in market and like it is tough. It is really tough right now. And so getting resourceful in that aspect, I think it's, again, we say lean into your network, right? I think everybody pitches that. But what does that look like? Like how do you get those resources? And I think with communities, it's another thing, like they all have job boards. And a lot of times maybe a recruiter will post a job that's not relevant for you. That's still a great opportunity if it's a company you want to work at to like just connect with them and introduce yourself. And I think it comes back to like trying to provide value as well. So is there anything you can do to like make their job easier or to make their day better even? I'm like, I'll send memes to people just because I'm like, I know, like, I don't know. I'll just do little stuff like that. But yeah, when it comes to the job search, I think the other thing is there are a ton of free resources out there in terms of to help with like resumes or interview prep or things like that. A friend actually was saying that there's a really cool AI Google tool that is like made for interview prep, which is amazing, right? People didn't have those things 3 or 5 years ago. So I don't know. What do you think are ways that people could get like more resourceful in their job search?
So your job search and in sales, I think it's important that you have to always be testing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You always have to test new things. I think a lot of times we read advice, we hear from people who are out there doing it, and we have this limiting belief and this limiting mindset of that won't work for me. And we tell ourselves all the reasons why, right? They're in a different industry, that they sell to a different IC. Everything is different. It would not work. So we don't try. We don't adapt it. We don't try to make it work for us. This year, watching people in other industries and learning from them saying, this is what I did to be successful, and me trying to take a step back and look at my industry and say, okay, if this is how they're doing it, how can I tweak it a little bit to use it for me? And then I go out and I actually test it for a week or two and I see the results. And maybe like 1 or 2 weeks it doesn't work. And okay, that wasn't something that was going to actually work for me. But sometimes it works really well. And then I just sit here, I'm like, okay, I booked 4 meetings because I read something, I listened to it on a podcast, and I actually implemented it. y'all, the taking action part is the other part that I feel like that's that's being resourceful, is taking the action to try new things. And you get so scared to do new things because what if you fail? What if it doesn't work? You're already looking for a job. You're already not closing deals. Who cares? Try. I don't know. There's my rant of the day. But I just think that there's so many ways that we could look out for ourselves more, and in also our network, right? Like, this is the other thing. People don't know what they don't know. You think about you a lot more than other people think about you. And I'm not saying be annoying, but you got to constantly tell people what you're looking for. You have to constantly say what job are you looking for? Where are you networking? What industries are you in? Go out, meet people, talk about it out loud. If you're just thinking about your job search in your head, nobody around you is going to help you.
Yeah, I love
Period.
that. And you kind of read my mind with the taking action part. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with networking too, and a next step. I think that's where probably 99% of people get stuck, is that action step. So I know I'm the type of person where I have to have like a to-do list. I've got to have the calendar to make sure I do that. Otherwise, I'll get distracted or I'll do other things. And so I think part of being resourceful too is being self-aware and knowing, okay, what tools do I need to build for myself, or what things do I need to set up and put in process for myself to hold myself accountable. And especially when it comes to, sales, like, you are kind of your own boss of your own business in a lot of ways. And then when it comes to your job search, to your point, like, that's on you. Like, that is fully on you, and you can definitely ask for help and get support. But a lot of times too, when you're asking for help and support or mentorship or coaching or intros, this also goes back to the follow-up as well, and making sure that, someone introed for you or took an informational, like, making sure you reach out and thank them and let them know how it turned out, which just reminded me I had an intro I need to follow up on. See, it's not on my list.
Yep.
But I think it's just so important to look at the resources that are available and are out there. And honestly, with, there's so many tools out there too that can help. And there's so many people that want to help as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it really does. Guys, and I think really the other thing is there's a lot at stake in sales and your job search, but the value of creativity and thinking outside of the box and being able to do one more thing, take one more step. It's like at the end of the day, I know we're not talking about cold calling, but it's like, make one more call, do one more thing, try something different, and be proactive and take initiative in both your job search and in sales. We got a comment earlier about if you can't sell, you in the job set, here it is. If you can't get a job in sales, you can't sell. Period, Eric. Period. Yes. So you should be able to sell in the job search. And if you're not being able to do that, you should be working on that while you're in your job search. And Dan is so right. Do not wait until you're looking for a job to start networking. What, y'all? Should be talking to recruiters all the time. All the time. Just so you know, I don't care. I'm a recruiter. I can say that. It's my show. Everybody should always talk to recruiters, even if you're not looking for a job, just so you know what the market is like. Because in 5 or 10 years, everything is going to look different than it looks today. And if you've never had a conversation, some of the people I get on calls with, Michelle, they've worked for somebody for 15, 20 years. And they're like, Lauren, I have no idea. I'm like, oh, yeah. That's like getting back in the dating pool. You don't know what you're about to like step into. It's a hot mess out here. Can you imagine being at one company for 20 years, never updating your resume, never talking to a recruiter, never practicing interviewing again?
No, I
That's
can't.
not being resourceful in your own career, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, that used to be so much more common, but in some industries, like, I have a friend, I think he's been with this company for 13 years. And I was just like, that's crazy. Like, are you having conversations? Are you networking? And he's kind of like, well, no, not right now. And it's the same thing, Dan nailed it. Like, not even just networking, just like conversations, right? Just talking to people, to your point, like, knowing what the market looks like, knowing what, other opportunities are out there. And maybe it's not for you, but maybe it's for somebody else. Or maybe, you have a conversation that inspires you to change your sales process or your recruiting process or things. So, or you maybe do some practice interviews and that changes a way that you approach something else. Like, everything is interconnected. And it's so, to your point, it's like so important just to stay on top of stuff and to stay fresh, especially if you've been somewhere for 20 years. It's time to do some practice for sure, at the very least.
A little bit of practice, y'all. Don't get rusty. What's up, Mark? Thank you for popping in. You should comment Sendoso really quick before you go, though, or else you won't have a chance to win the True Scoops DIY ice cream kit. Oh, I got it. I said it right that time. All right. We already at the half, Michelle.
That's crazy. Time is flying when you're having
What in
fun.
the world? Okay, so y'all, if you have any more questions about the job hunt, being resourceful, any of that, you can let us know. We will come back to that. Before we get to the half, please don't forget, you can comment Sendoso to win today. We will show you quickly if I can do this. Here we go. Here's the prize. It is an ice cream kit. Y'all, this is a DIY ice cream kit. Okay, you got to make your own ice cream and freeze it yourself. Please don't think you're going to get some dry eye box of ice cream. No. But it is gourmet, amazing ice cream, and you're going to make it yourself and you're going to love it. And if you make a video of yourself making it and eating it, I'll send you $50.
Whoa.
You got to tag me and Sendoso and True Scoops. You got to tag us all and you got to post
And
it.
me.
But if
Tag
you
me,
do
just for
all
fun.
those things, you're going to get ice cream and I'm going to send you some cash. Okay. Let me bring us back down to reality. All right, we have a few more topics after the half. We're going to talk about getting creative on camera. And no, we're not just talking about having a nice podcast set up, although that does help. And then we're going to get into AI in sales. Y'all, I feel like this is a giant topic. If you're watching and you want to learn about AI in sales, start asking questions. We'll jump into all of them. And at the very end, you guys know Michelle's going to give us a fun Friday fact. Just bringing it up so she remembers to actually have one for us in a minute. And with that, I'm going to remove us. And, well, I guess you'll see Michelle back in just a second for High Five Friday. Bye, guys.
I'm still here. All right. So if you have not seen this part of the show, this is where we have viewers and friends submit high fives. So this can be a shout out for somebody. This can be a win for yourself. That's kind of how High Five Friday started initially. So we will make sure to drop the link so that we can get some awesome high fives for next week. But let me jump in. All right. So first up, we have Molly Wheaton from Earn Better for Mike Connolly. Had a call with Mike last week, and he is awesome. He's the founder of Pay Forward Coaching, an organization that provides job search resources and career services to anyone who needs it for completely free. In addition to free coaching sessions, they have an awesome Slack community where job seekers can engage with career advisors and fellow job seekers for advice, insights, motivation, etc. If you're looking for some camaraderie and real-time advice on your job search, this could be a great resource. There we go. We were talking about being resourceful. Boom. Check out Pay Forward Coaching. All right. Casey Ginn for Will. Will not only took a call from a 9-year-old, but also took a demo. That's awesome. Did the 9-year-old do the demo? Is my question. On to the next one. Monica for Jared. I'm shouting out Jared because his hard work is admirable. Your effort inspires me to work harder, so thank you for setting the bar so high. I can't wait to see the great things you achieve this year, and I'll be rooting for you every step of the way. And then our fabulous number one fan, Daniela for JD. He's the number one agent in real estate when it comes to sharing his thoughts, educating buyers and sellers, and is always polite and friendly. It feels like he never has a bad day. Love the positivity in him. We need more JDs in the work field. And then we have our win for Lindsay. Lindsay is a huge part of my life and has taken the time to help me as I continue to build my business out, whether it be with creative content creation, event sessions, collaborating on the relaunch of the disability intersection with my business partner and best friend Laura, or just talking to Lindsay always brings a smile to the faces of those around her. These were awesome high fives. We love these shout outs, and to everyone who is just lifting people up in your network, like, way to go. We appreciate it.
All right. This is like kind of weird not doing the transition like off and back.
I know. I feel like
Whatever.
you need to send me like to the backstage and then back for a
Like,
second.
we're gonna kick Michelle off, let her take a sip of her beverage for a second. Y'all, it is halfway through the first Friday of August show. I cannot believe it. And Andrew, thank you so much for the high five. We really appreciate you showing up each week to support us. It means the world to us. Y'all, I like can't believe it's 3:30 on a Friday. It's 3:30 on a Friday. You're about to hit the weekend. Can you like pat yourself on the back? Like you made it. You made it. Okay. We'll bring Michelle back because I feel like now it's been enough time. So what's up, Michelle? Welcome back.
Oh my gosh, long time no see. Of course, I have to cough right when I come back.
We missed you so much.
I love it. I love it. I'm excited to get into our next topics.
Okay. We did have a question that came up, so
Okay.
I'm going to bring that up before we jump into the topics, and
Perfect.
I'm going to let you answer it. Andrew says, "How about a wording question? What do you recommend saying instead of 'I just want to follow up with you' when you need a follow up?"
Yes, I feel like this is like the age old question, right? Because nobody wants just following up, just checking in. So I typically just am more direct with whatever the action was or whatever I'm trying to get from them. Or that sounds bad, but whatever the action is. So if it's Lauren saying, yes, let's put time on the calendar, and I'm like, great, send me the link. It's a week later, she hasn't sent me the link. I'll just be like, hey Lauren, like, do you have that link, or let's get this booked. Or if it's, maybe it's a couple of follow-ups, I like asking if something is like still a priority, or if people are still interested in having, and that's more so in sales, right? And when people ghost or kind of slow ghost you, I would just go more of the direct route of like, hey, this was the action we agreed upon, obviously being respectful and polite, but is this still something that you want to continue the conversation on? Or, I think with job searches, it's really interesting, right? Because you don't want to be the person who is pestering our lovely recruiters who are working their butts off, by the way. So shout out to recruiters, because y'all are working very hard, and I feel like do not get the credit you deserve, agency or in-house, all of it. But I think, you don't want to just be like, hey, following up on my app, following up, right? That's just not, it's not meaningful and it's not helpful. So I think that for that use case, sending something of value of, hey, actually just thought of this cool project that I worked on, wanted to share it with the team, let me know if you need anything else from me, or things like that, where you're reminding them that you're there. You're like, hey, I'm still here. I'm following up. But again, you're sending something of value. I think the same thing with like sales process and conversations there, or even networking, right? There's like direct, and then there's something of value. I also, though, if someone is just following up with me and they say I'm following up, like that doesn't bother me. I'm like,
Michelle's like, "I'm not offended like most sales leader when you say I'm following up with you."
I'm like, yeah, thank you. I'll be like, thank you for following up, because you are right. I do owe you that thing. But yeah, I think just thinking a little bit more strategically about it. And also like, okay, how am I going to get their attention again? Or how am I going to, regain their interest? I don't know. Do you have any like hacks for following up without following up?
Yeah, so if you're in your job search and you've applied, you've like messaged, you're not really hearing much. One of the things I like to do, especially if I know like the recruiter, the hiring manager is active and online and posting or whatnot, I keep an eye on the job board, on the company job board. And I'm big on a few days later being like, hey, Liz, notice that you guys posted a role for staff accountant yesterday. Not anything that I'd be interested in, but I have a couple in my network and I forwarded the job on. Hope everything's going well. Could you let me know where my application stands if you have a moment? So I'm giving something in the beginning. I'm asking at the end. I would do something like that in terms of my job search. And I think that like you said, a lot of recruiters are overwhelmed. So the fact that like the first thing was like something that was like, oh, you did that for me, or oh, it was something that wasn't just for you and it wasn't just me, right? I do that a lot. And then in terms of like sales and deals, when I'm following up with someone, I don't like to use the words following up, Michelle, just because I know most sales leaders hate it.
Yeah.
But I try a lot in the initial conversation, in that like initial conversation, to have a few things we discussed that I could reach back out again, right? So I might not have to reach back out again about, hey, why didn't you do this one thing? But we talked about 3 or 4 other things, and I left multiple doors open to come back into to say, hey, I know we were chatting about this, but we also talked about this, and this is what's going on with that. Well, now I'm just constantly keeping a conversation flowing and moving. And I do that quite often. And if you're watching this and you close deals with me, now you know.
Like, I'm always here. I'm always here.
Thank you, Andrew. It is overused. I agree. And thank you. We love that you come. I hope that people do get some positivity from the show, but we also want to keep it real. Happy Friday, Kelsey. And I did want to say I saw some of you dropping Sendoso in the comments. I love tagging Sendoso, but that doesn't actually work for the giveaway tool. You have to put the hashtag in front of Sendoso if you would like to win the True Scoops DIY ice cream kit, strawberry and hot fudge. I try to say it right every time, but you never know. Okay. This is so random, but I just thought of this. Did you see the post with the movie theater guy talking on the cold call?
No. Oh my God,
They hired the guy who does the movie trailer voice to do a cold call. I just had this idea of like hiring him to do all of like the True Scoops DIY ice like, oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, y'all.
I like
Blonde
it.
moment
I
during
like
the
it.
show.
I have a random thing too while we're here, while we're scrolling. So I noticed you have a hot pink water cup with a straw. Got my like hydro flask here. Shout out to the Northwest. I was having a conversation the other day with a friend who was saying she doesn't drink enough water. And I was like, get a fun cup with a straw. I don't know what it is about an aesthetically pleasing cup and a straw, but I drink water like all day. If it's just in a mug or a glass, I'm like, I don't want that. That's not fun water. This is fun water.
So the other thing I will say is it'll take you a minute to find the cup. I have
Mhm.
a bunch of cups that are like this, but this is the cup. None of the other ones are quite as good. This one isn't even like, it's not like that good of a cup, y'all. It's pretty cheap. It's probably from Target. It's not anything name brand. It doesn't really keep my drink that cold, but I don't know. This is the cup. And you're
I
right.
love
I
it.
drink so much more water out of this. The other thing I really like, and I'll promote, and like this, it's not sponsored, but I'll just tell you all, Noon tablets in your water to like stay healthy, energized. Really recommend Noon tablets in UUN. I really like those. Okay, and yes, Lee, I think it would be great to have the movie trailer guy do that. I wonder how much that would cost, or if our sponsors would. I don't know. Well, we'll have to have some conversations. In a world where refreshments were forbidden, I know, right? Like, wouldn't that be so fun for the movie guy to say stuff like that? Oh gosh. Oh, we have ideas now. I wonder if I could get AI to make it, like make the voice, then I would have to pay somebody to do it.
Probably.
Ooh,
I'm
we're
sure
gonna
some variation of it. I mean, I haven't used it in that capacity, but I know that it's out there.
So this is kind of talking about getting creative on camera because we're talking a little bit about that, and we're talking about using AI now for the voice. So y'all, we're covering the topics without even covering the topic. All right, but for real, because we only have 20 minutes left and a lot more to do. Let's talk about getting creative on camera. Michelle, in sales, how are you getting creative on camera?
Yeah, so I think and the team at SunSpark has some really cool content coming out around this too. That I was like, oh, that aligns with kind of where my thought was too, of course. But I think that a lot of people have heard, okay, use it in your prospecting, send a personalized video. So I think that's covered. But there's a lot of other ways to use video, and we'll talk sales process, and then can talk like content creation. But there's a lot of other creative ways. So one thing I like to do, we use a lot of in sales, we use a lot of different resources, whether they're blogs or reports, or maybe it's an ebook or something else. I love to create like a 30-second video that gives the highlights, a key takeaway, maybe an interesting fact from that resource, and send that along with the resource. So I'm giving someone like a compelling reason to actually read whatever the heck I'm sending them. Because it's like, okay, why is this random person in my inbox, with 30-page ebook? Like, why do I care?
It's a too long
So I
didn't read.
think,
It's your too long didn't read. It's like, no, you
yeah,
want to read this. Here you go.
yeah, exactly. So I love using it for content. I love using it for event follow up. So I think we've all been to conferences or big events. I've got, I think, like 40 emails just sitting in my inbox from a previous event. They all are pretty similar. And so I think that being able to get creative with your outreach. So, like, if you have hopefully notes on the conversations that were had with people, using those, personalizing that is amazing. But another thing you can do is, you're having conversations, you're hearing themes, create like a quick, again, 1 minute, maybe two, like a thought leadership video of takeaways that you heard. Like, hey, these were 3 trends that everyone was talking about, not in the presentations or off the stage or at our booth. Again, really like leading with value, but doing it in a form that people are getting more and more used to consuming. I mean, I don't have my fun fact isn't on like video consumption in the US and in the world, but I know I personally watch a lot more videos than just read like texts these days.
100%. Really quick, this is why we have the best audience around, y'all. They already found it. Andrew, how did you find it that fast? Okay, I got to go play around with this over the weekend. And then Lee wants to know, would using an app like Loom be a good choice? What do you think, Michelle?
Yep, definitely. So Loom has some great things. SenSpark is a company that I work with and a tool that I use that I really love. There's some other ones out there as well. So, there's some free options. There's some that can scale up too. So if you're doing higher volume, looking into a tool that has a little bit more weight behind it is great. But you can also, LinkedIn in particular, you can also just record on your phone and post it or send it. It actually, when it comes to direct messages, if you send the video directly, they can play in the thread rather than going out of the app. So that's typically what I'd recommend for like sending videos on LinkedIn. Fun fact, that's like how Lauren and I initially became friends. She sent me a connection request with video, and I was just like, what the heck is this? What is this? Like, what is this cute little thing? And I think I sent a video response because it was like, respond with a video. And I was just like, okay, that was cool. Yeah, it's great to meet you. Let's be friends. I love it.
Yeah, I definitely started using video for that before most people. Y'all, I don't recommend everybody just send a video to everybody anymore. Please don't do that. But when I first started on LinkedIn, I was sending 50 personalized videos a day to people, and I was filming each one of them. So y'all don't do that. Go get some SunSpark in your life. Bethany actually came on the show last year, and then we had Melissa on the show earlier this year before she moved over to SunSpark. So maybe we got to get like the duo of them back on the show. That would be exciting. But some just powerhouses. One of my favorite conversations, and this does go to getting creative on camera. We're going to get there. But with Bethany, when we were talking about camera and all of it, was that some women don't want to film as many videos because there's this like, you got to have your makeup on. You got to look nice. And we don't want, sorry, y'all, I only look like this on Friday. I mean, don't get me wrong. I look like this on other days, but like, I don't get ready like this other than a show day, right? Like, it's different. And when I was talking to Bethany, she was like, if these video apps would just have filters so that the women could like touch my appearance is touched up on this filter on this app right now, y'all. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to gatekeep. There is a button that says touch up my appearance. Yes, please. Every Friday. But Bethany and I were like, wouldn't it just be nice if we had that? Also, men, I love that you don't have to feel this feeling ever. So if it's not relevant to you, just hold on because we're going to get back there. But one of the things that Bethany did with SunSpark was that they put filters on. And in the beginning, I was using Snapchat or Instagram on a different app with a filter to record a video, save it, move it over to LinkedIn or over to whatever video app, and then send it because that's how uncomfortable I was in the beginning. So, one, you're beautiful the way you are. Two, if you want to touch up your appearance, do it. Three, Michelle just dropped SinSpark in the chat. Go over, check them out, tell them Michelle sent you. And y'all just send the video. Some of the best responses I got were the videos that I sent that had like bloopers in them. They weren't perfect. They weren't edited. I would stumble over my words and then like giggle a little bit. Whatever, who cares? Just send the video. It's you. And most of the videos I should send, and I think Michelle knows this was before I had a podcast studio. It wasn't this. It was me at my house, in my home office. And it was like just showing up to talk to you. And it didn't have to be some production. This is a production for a show. It didn't have to be that. And yours doesn't have to be that.
I love it. Yeah. And Dan dropped a good comment in there. Don't get caught up in the tech to get started. Record a vid and send it via DM. And I think the other piece of that is getting more comfortable on camera. You just kind of have to do it, right? Like you kind of have to just. That's one of the reasons when I started High Five Friday 2-3 years ago now, it was to kind of push myself to post more video content and to kind of hold myself accountable to that and get more comfortable. And, it's kind of like hearing your own voice, right? Some people are like, can't stand the sound of their own voice. Some people don't like, how they might look on video. But like at the end of the day, that's how you look. Like you look how you look, right? Obviously, like you said, touch up stuff like that. But yeah, I typically, if I'm sending video, like a one-to-one video, I typically don't watch it back or listen back to it. If it has me stumbling or saying or like I'm human. And that's just, makes it, I think, a little bit more natural. It did.
On the call.
Huh?
I'm probably going to say on our call.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
yeah, my videos are always like they're just like, woo! I did want to talk a little bit about video and like LinkedIn and content. So I'm so curious if you've noticed this. I was not super active for a few weeks. And then I would say 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I noticed when I was scrolling on my phone, everything in my feed was video. Like every second post, I would say, or every other post was video, to the point where it was noticeably different than previously. And I think my friend Chris posted about this the other day about how LinkedIn is leaning heavily into prioritizing video in the feed. And so, I mean, I love that, Jody. It's more personal. Oh, yay. Yes. Yeah. Melissa's the video queen. I think she still has a course and she does some amazing content on video as well. But when it comes to like LinkedIn and posting, I'm kind of going through a little bit of a refresh with like how I share things because I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we have to be like more present, more on video. Otherwise things just don't get like seen and they don't get prioritized.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not seeing it as much, but I'm hearing it a lot, which I think will also tell everyone like the algorithm is different for different people. It pushes it out to different people at different times. So you can't really say, follow all of this. It's going to work for you. Y'all, I go check to make sure my app is updated all the time. I want to like have the latest stuff, but like, no, I still don't have half the things that some people have and it is different. So just know that too. But I also know that it's being prioritized on other people's feeds, which is why I'm working hard to push out more video. Because even if I'm not seeing it, doesn't mean other people won't. And like you said earlier, like you have to get used to putting out video. You have to get used to creating that content. You have to get used to it. It's a muscle. You have to build it. So I think that we're seeing more people starting to try to get on camera. My biggest thing when people are trying to start creating this content, like, don't just go copy someone else's style because you watched their video and it looked cool. When we're talking about getting creative on camera, and you don't have to have some elaborate thing, it doesn't have to be crazy, but figure out something that you're comfortable in. And maybe the first video you film isn't your style. And maybe the second video you film isn't your style. But just start filming videos and it will evolve with you. If you go back and look at the videos I was posting on LinkedIn 2 years ago, they're so embarrassing. They're so embarrassing. They're still there. They're so embarrassing, the videos I was posting on LinkedIn 2 years ago.
I love it. No, I've definitely posted some videos where I'm like, okay, maybe we should have spent like 5 extra minutes like brushing our hair before that video or something. But that's real life, that's just like, it is what it is. But yeah, I have there's some cringy stuff. I'm sure if anyone wants to do a deep dive into my feed as well.
I had TikTok for like 5 minutes and I literally maybe have 6 or 7 videos on there. And one of them, I look back at it. I'm like, why did I post that? I'm like fresh out of the shower, just washed my face. My face is like shiny. And I'm like, who does this? Like the person who shows up on camera every Friday with makeup and lashes, and what did I do that for? I want to delete it so bad, but I don't want to be that person who like deletes my stuff. Yes, I agree with this. A video feels like you're a real person. It hits your brain differently. It's like the emotion and those like context clues you get too. Like a lot of it is your body language. A lot of it is how much I'm smiling, how much I'm making eye contact. You can see that so much more on camera. And I want to be able to smile and laugh. And even if you're not smiling, laughing with me, like I'm on the show right now, I'm assuming half of you home smile and laugh throughout the show. Even if you don't, I'm going to tell myself in my head you do. But yeah, it strikes someone's attention. Definitely. I agree with you. Thank you, Jody. We didn't have, yeah. That happened. That happened twice. It happened twice. Have you ever become a meme or we're gonna do it again, a GIF or a GIF? A GIF.
No, but I want to make some. Like I want to make a handful and use them in my outreach. I just need to I need to like ideate it first, but just I don't know, just something stupid like me, like for following up, right? Like just me like popping from around the corner, like, hi, do you forget me?
No, I love it. I think you should have like it be Blue's face and then it like fades into you and be like, just kidding, it's me. You thought it was Blue. Just kidding. It's Michelle needing a follow-up on that email I sent you last week. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks. That thing you said you were going to do. If you could do that, that'd be great. Some finger guns. Nothing gets anything done in corporate America like finger guns, you know? Like,
I love it. I love it. Okay, last topic. We only have 8 minutes. We still have one more topic and the giveaway and the Fun Friday fact. We got to roll. All right. And this is such a big topic. We might not have time for all of this. AI in sales, y'all. Really quick, I'm just going to throw you a question so we can like jump into this.
Yeah.
Do you think that AI and the way people are using AI in sales, like people are really being ethical in their use of AI right now?
Ethical is a tough one. Ethical is a tough one because it just depends, right? Like, I don't know. That's hard.
I'm going to pose the question differently.
Okay.
Do you think that if there is a seller and the only thing they are doing is using AI in their entire process, every step of the way, right? Like they're not actually personalizing, they're not actually doing their like if they're using AI in every step of the way, yes or no?
I would say,
and why?
I would say that's like borderline, but it's, I mean, automation, right? Automation and AI are there. But what I will say is I don't think it's effective. And I think it takes out a lot of what makes a good sales process is the person that you're interacting with. So my kind of like overarching thought is, yes, there are some amazing AI tools out there, but using them to be more efficient rather than to take away the human factor, you know, and even like my mom, Daniela, mentioned here, like the video, it humanizes things. And so I think a lot of people are going so far over to this other side of the spectrum where they're like, oh my God, I'm going to automate every piece of this process and everything that I do and all of this. And then I'll just show up for the signed contract or whatever it is. And I think that while that might get you some short-term wins or short-term scale, like there really has to be this balance of the human factor. You know, and there's different ways people have different preferences, but I think that we see this huge surge in AI use in sales. And I think we're going to see this like kind of bubble where it levels out. Because there are some really great ways to use it, right? Call recording research is a big one. I love using it to like research accounts and get information from across the internet that would take me probably an hour to do. I think to tie it back to, just because we were talking about job search earlier, there are some really cool ways to use AI to prep for interviews, to literally do like mock interviews. You can do research. There's that tool I mentioned too that like Google has, which I'll find the link for. But yeah, when it comes to AI in sales, my main thought is like it should be a tool, but not everything. And I think some people are trying to make it everything, and we're going to see that kind of like flop a little bit, or we're going to see that bubble pop a little bit.
So that's almost like my hot take is that I want everybody to lean into it more because only the people who actually leverage it the right way and understand that it's a resource, right? AI is a resource for us. It shouldn't replace us. It's a resource, not a replacement. But it's helping me weed out and filter through so much so fast. Y'all, it is insane. Like when somebody will apply for a job, like it's the same answers from 6 people, all from ChatGPT. Half of the time they forget to remove the prompt when they when they copy and paste it back in.
I can't believe that.
It's insane to me. So I don't care if you use it, but like use it the right way.
Yeah.
So for me, like please y'all, please lean into it. Please use it for as much as you want because it's going to help us really weed out the people who understand how to use it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
agree
love
with
that.
Dan. Keep it simple. It
Yep.
is to save time on research, learning, brainstorming. It can get you started on something if you don't know the structure, things like that. But don't use it to replace actual human interaction. Absolutely not. And Daniela, a chat GPT resume is probably not going to get you a job. Just saying. But when you did it yourself and it was like you know you better than chat GPT knows you. I tell people that all the time. And yes, it's a little tool in your toolbox. You're an architect. I like that. I like that, Jody. I like
I
that a
like
lot.
that a lot. Yeah. I'm an
Right?
architect.
And Andrew said earlier, you must always have a human in the loop. And I think this is what you were saying as well. So, and Dan says AI won't take your job, but people who know how to use AI will. Dan, we had a whole episode on that. And it is so true. It's a tool, not a magic wand. Too many people think it's a magic wand. Okay. Y'all, I'm sorry. We gotta wrap it up. We're gonna have Michelle do a fun Friday fact of the day. Then we'll do our giveaway. This was so fun. Michelle, I can't believe I normally only get you for like 30 seconds at the halfway part, but I love that you came on and you're gonna be a guest every single year. I hope you know that.
I love it. Okay, my fun fact is okay, and I am reading this off of a BuzzFeed article. The American gymnast Stephen Nadorczyk, who went like viral for the pommel horse, can solve a Rubik's cube in under 20 seconds. That's wild.
That's insanity.
I don't think I've ever solved a Rubik's cube in my life. I probably should.
Who's the gymnast that's going viral for knitting? I can't remember. And then, I mean, he might not be a gymnast. He's an athlete. Sorry, y'all. I probably said the wrong thing. And then there's another athlete from another country who's going viral for talking about the chocolate muffins and rating all the food.
Yes.
Have you seen either of those?
I do see the muffin one's on here.
Okay, there you go.
The muffin one's on here too. But the
Muffin Man.
The Muffin
Have
Man.
you seen the Muffin Man? Y'all, my fun Friday fact is that if you ever post about working remotely from the pool, people are gonna get salty, and not enough people go outside. I was just really shocked with how many people were like not loving the fact that I got to go work outside in the sun and have some like dopamine hits and feel good. Like, who hurt you people? That's all I have to say is who hurt you. Go outside, put your feet in the grass. Maybe you need to go to the pool too. But I'm definitely not the reason that offices are making you all go back. Like, no. Somebody said that in the comments. You're the reason to get over yourself. Go get some sun. All right. Let's do the giveaway. If you have not yet, you have like 30 seconds left. Comment hashtag Sendoso. Give you one more second while I pull the screen up to share. All right. Bop, bop, bop. We are going to share the screen. Giveaway. Let's see how many people entered today. We had 8 people enter. Who's going to win? Are we ready? This is also where I need the sound effects for the drum roll, please. Will it be Andrew, Mark, Dan? Ooh, Mark got his entry in before he popped out. I see. Here we go. Aaron Delaney. You've won on this show before. Aren't you so glad you're here today? What's up? Okay, Michelle, any final words for the people?
No, it's Friday.
Right. Michelle's like, can we just go home now?
It's I know. Can we go home? We are home.
Yeah, we are home.
This was a blast. Thank you for having me. I always love getting to hang and chat with you, and I hope this was helpful. Anyone who's here who I'm not already connected to, feel free to connect with me, reach out. I'm always happy to talk shop or ideate or whatever it is. So feel free to reach out. And special thanks to Miss Daniela Hanna for showing up every Friday with us. And yeah, cheers to the weekend, y'all.
Cheers to the weekend. You know what I say? If you didn't like it, don't come back. Bye.